Oops.
Okay. Hi guys. So today we'll be talking about chapter 2, and then like for my structure of the discussion, I have a lot like that relates to the book. So if you guys would like, you guys can have the page marked. It's on page 18. Okay. And so to start off, I guess like how did you guys think of this chapter? Was it easy to read? And was it like relatable or interesting? Like any thoughts on it?
I thought that there was like a lot of like definitions. I was like, oh, okay, so we're getting just like lots of basic knowledge, and there's like a lot of social media impressions and all the kind of like nitty gritty details. But I think it's like still really important to obviously know all of those things in terms of digital marketing and branding and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I thought it was super easy to read. I felt like most of it was just like talking about different metrics and the different social media platforms, which is interesting. It's really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see everything like put in textbook, like what a definition of likes or like followers or whatever. But,
Yeah, it was interesting to see how like the different social medias use different metrics too.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah. Okay, so like I guess the start of this chapter, it's like starting at the top, and then like I saw that it they said that it's important to determine what like the right metric is for like your campaign by setting a measurable goal, and then it put things in 3 categories: behavior, amount of change, and time. It pretty much just says that like, oh, you should set what's the end goal of this campaign, I guess, and what change you would like to do, and how much time you would want the campaign to last. And I think it just talks about like just having measurable goals for your campaign, I guess. So my question for you guys was, what do you guys think of this method, like on like setting goals and stuff? And have you guys had experience working somewhere where some type of measurable goal was set, and how did that go?
Actually, yeah. So a couple summers ago, I worked at a boutique back home, and every single week my boss would sit with me and say like, all right, Lucy, like this is our daily goal for the week, and like this is our weekly goal. This is how much we want to have sold by the end of the week. And then also last summer when I did my internship, my boss did the same thing, just like daily goals, weekly goals, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, for sure.
That's cool.
I guess for me, when I worked at Nordstrom, like our goals was to like give sell like make our customers buy like the credit cards or get the credit card. That was they really pushed it on us to do that.
Yeah, I have not like right now I work for Baylor. It's not really like a retail type of job, but I call prospective students to tell them about Baylor. And so we have goals like, okay, every shift you have to call and talk to at least 15 people or try to call 100 people. And all of the, like, it's completely remote. So we use Teams and like all sorts of database systems to track all of our progress throughout the night and like throughout the week and the month and stuff. So definitely a lot of metrics used there, even if it's not necessarily to like make decisions for marketing. Well, it is kind of marketing though, because I'm telling people about Baylor.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I actually do have my first bridge is actually exactly what we're talking about.
Okay.
Would y'all rather me like summarize it or just come out and read it? Because I feel like reading it will like relay the message a lot better than if I were to summarize
whatever
it.
Yeah, you can, whatever.
Yeah, I don't want to like miss out on anything. Okay. So I just said, to determine the right metrics for a campaign, one must establish measurable goals using behavior, amount of change, and time. A company must first figure out what it desires from its target market, whether it be awareness or action. This is by far the most important step because every action stems from the behavior of the target market. Determining amount of change is important because companies need to observe how much business they're getting, therefore determining if the goal is being met or not. Obviously, time is of the essence and campaigns should be given a time limit. If success is not reached before time is up, then the campaign did not meet the goal. This topic directly relates to my fashion theory and consumer behavior class due to the fact that this class was all about the consumer and how to determine and appeal to the target market. In this class, we learned how to use the consumer's behavior to determine what a target market wants and how to use those wants to set timely goals and deliver exactly what is desired. So yeah, that's my first bridge.
Okay. Okay, and next we'll, in the order, I wrote some stuff about like applying measurement framework, which is the next thing. And it pretty much just talks about how like establishing a measurable framework creates like the accountability, and it shares like the same vision of success, and it just helps teams work together and speak the same language. But yeah, if you guys have any thoughts on that.
I have another bridge.
Oh yeah, sure.
So everything you say, that's what my bridge is. Okay. So I said the next bridge I would like to discuss is applying a measurement framework. It is crucial that when trying to secure a campaign, the objectives must align with the KPIs and metrics. KPIs simply determine how marketing is doing in relation to objectives, whereas metrics are the data points that inform performance, such as likes on Facebook or mentions on Twitter. Objectives are the basis for any framework because they determine every decision made throughout a campaign. KPIs relay if the marketing strategies being used are helping to achieve the objectives or not, making them vital to any framework. A company must know if its campaign is performing up to standards in order to determine the next step. Metrics such as likes and shares help to determine if a campaign is reaching the right market and if it is being received well. In visual merchandising, I learned the importance of creating objectives such as building a brand image. I also learned the importance of telling a story with marketing tactics in order to pull consumers in, which is emphasized in the KPI section of our textbook. Without a solid framework, a campaign simply cannot succeed.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, so moving on, it goes in and we start talking about owned and earned social metrics. I don't know if you guys remember reading about that, but I was wondering if anyone could just like briefly talk about what the difference is between owned social media and earned social media. And this is on page 20.
I have for earned social media, I have when communication programs are developed, professionals design them and hope that the conversation about the program or brand that you did not directly pitch would be considered earned. So it could be like earned conversations, in-network conversations, share of voice, share of conversations, sentiment, and overall conversation volume. I don't know, it's just in my notes.
Yeah, so I guess like earned is like when it's like not directly pitched, but like owned is when it's related to like a social media platform because it's like owned by the platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, owned is like, this is what we have, this is our resources that we own as a brand and that we have like, I don't know, ownership of. I mean, that's like the easiest way to explain it. And then earned is like word of mouth and like buzz and things that, you know, get people talking. It's like you put in the work to make these advertisements, and then earned is like what you get after that. I also have a bridge that definitely kind of goes into the earned media. If I should just go ahead and
yeah, sure, go for it.
Yeah, so I'm the outside bridge builder, so like for outside events and things that kind of relating to the book, the Super Bowl is a huge opportunity for earned media. And so let's see, I'll just kind of read what I have. So basically using social media platforms and like all of the metrics, you can kind of track your earned media, because like the likes and the conversations and the comments and stuff, that's kind of your earned conversations that you're getting. So earned conversations in the book is defined as social media conversations that are taking place outside the owned social media property. So like the conversations that people are having like not on social media. And I think that the Super Bowl is like probably one of the biggest events that gives so much earned conversations where you're like talking about it. Cause like I talk about, they're like, oh, like, did you see the Doritos commercial or whatever it may be? So there's tons of earned conversations through the ads that you see there. And nearly everyone looks forward to watching the Super Bowl just to see the commercials. Even if you're not into football, you're like, oh, watch it for the commercials. So it doesn't only increase earned conversations, and people like talk about the ads that they liked or disliked for days, weeks, months after, but it also increases their insights on social media. So according to an article that I found, just having an ad in the Super Bowl increases your traffic through YouTube, Instagram, all that sort of stuff, regardless of how well your ad was targeted or whatever it may be. So nearly every advertiser has a surge in their YouTube traffic following their Super Bowl ad, as people are searching to rewatch them or just searching the ad that they saw, and then or searching the company that they saw, and then like the ad pops up because it was recent. So yeah, the Super Bowl definitely has an impact on earned media for brands.
Yeah. Also, one, like, how I tell the difference between like owned and earned, to me, like owned is just something that already exists. It's already there, and earned is something that you really have to put in the work for. And like, it's kind of like an award. And that's kind of how I think of it.
Thanks, guys. That's really helpful. Okay, and then now, how I'm structuring the next few discussions is pretty much I'm going through all the own social media like Facebook, Instagram, and then we'll go over each and then like look at what is the matrix they use, and then we'll talk about that. But yeah, so Facebook is the first one, and it pretty much just like I have some facts like written down. It says it's the most popular social network, and Facebook has this thing where it has Facebook Insights, and it's free, and you can like analyze platforms and stuff, and you can see how your engagement is and how like who is viewing your page, stuff like that. But pretty much my question is, can you guys give me some popular metrics that most professionals look at when evaluating Facebook, and why do you guys think those are important? And this is on page 21, 22.
I think just like looking at the definitions and stuff, obviously like you want to get likes and comments and people commenting on the actual post, because other people, like other users, will see that. And so then like if other people are commenting, they're more likely to comment. But I think like some of the ones like the engagement rate is really important to keep in mind, because like you may have a lot of impressions or have a lot of people see it, but like how many people that see it actually stop to read it. So I'm pretty sure they can like see how long you look at it. And like if you scroll and you don't pay any attention to it, so like does that, you know, like that doesn't really count as something like worth going forward with or making decisions based off, like somebody scrolling past, but are they like engaging, looking at the page that the ad was for or whatever it may be. So I think like the engagement rate is really important.
I think efficiency metrics is really important, like within a brand and business, because like that obviously tells you how efficiently like you're reaching your market. I mean, just because like, you know, people are seeing it or liking it doesn't mean that it's like efficiently reaching your target market. And so I think that that's really, really important in a brand.
I also think like sharing the amount of shares like a post gets on Facebook is also crucial. I think that's a way that it will reach like more people. And
I agree. I feel like most of the time when I'm on Facebook, I see a lot of people sharing different like pages or like GoFundMe, stuff like that. And like that's usually how I see some of the more like personal things.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then yeah, I think so too. Facebook's definitely interesting. Okay, and next let's be talking about Twitter. And Twitter, it's on the textbook. It just says that like it's growing significantly, which like I'm sure most of us have like been on it or seen it, but they have also been increasing their like the amount of paid advertising they're using. And so the question I have for you guys is, what are some common metrics you can use to evaluate your performance on Twitter? And how are some ways that brands or people have used to succeed on this social media platform?
Just from personal experience, I think mentions are like a huge metric because, like, for example, like if I bought a pair of Nike shoes, I could go on there and be like, at Nike, like these Air Force Ones are like kicking, and then like, other people are gonna see that and they're gonna like mention Nike, and so I think mentions are like a huge thing on Twitter.
I've noticed like on Twitter, like a bunch of like big companies like Wendy's or like Walmart or whatever, they'll like comment kind of like goofy stuff on people's posts to be like more relatable, I think, with the younger like generation, like funny like replies and stuff, so to like get their word out.
Also, I think retweets, because like if you like something on Twitter, obviously you retweet it. And I think if a brand has a lot of retweets, that means that they're like, doing pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like there's definitely like a Twitter humor, and if you understand it, I feel like it definitely benefits your brand.
Yeah, I'm not like super, I don't really use Twitter, but I do know that like the hashtags, like that's really important too. I don't know if it's like really mentioned in the book, but like hashtag blank and getting that trending for your brand is like a really good way to increase like all of the things that we've already talked about, like mentions and stuff like that. And like Claire, you mentioned like Wendy's, like they're always posting like funny things or like they'll comment to other brands like McDonald's, and then that gets a lot of attention and a lot of retweets, like the funny stuff versus like check out our new 4 for $4 meal. Like no one's gonna retweet that, but people will retweet the funny comments.
That's true. I definitely agree. I feel like hashtags are important because I know how like the top they have like a top trending page, and if you have that hashtag, like you can make it on the like trending hashtag whatever, and you can type like click on it. Like I know I click on like The Bachelor or something, like hashtag Bachelor or whatever, and then you can see like all the popular memes and stuff. So yes, hashtag definitely is really big. I don't know why it's not mentioned, but okay. The next platform we'll be talking about is YouTube. And YouTube also has a system for creators to track their performance and to see like a reporting pretty much. There are also metrics in YouTube to determine how some videos are doing better than others. So my discussion question is, let's go over some of these metrics and like what type of videos do you guys watch the most? And do you guys have any interesting stories related to how YouTube creators bump these metrics that are talked about on the textbook? And this is on page 25.
I guess some of the, go ahead.
I guess like for most YouTubers, regardless of like what kind of YouTuber you're watching, whether it's like lifestyle, fashion, like whatever it is, they always are like subscribe down below or like click the bell or comment in the comment section. So they're always like encouraging that. And so if they were like, let's say promoting a brand or their video was sponsored by some brand, they're already like encouraging like people to engage. So it's like increasing the likelihood that people are going to engage with the brand as well, if they already have like engaging subscribers, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm not a big I mean, I don't really get on YouTube a lot, which I know is really weird. But kind of going off what Kylie was saying, I've noticed like the few that I have watched, like beauty bloggers and like all like the comedians are always like, oh, now subscribe below, and like I feel like that's the thing to do. But I also feel like your views and like your likes are like your two big things. If you're getting lots of views and lots of likes, then obviously like you're doing it right.
Yeah, I've noticed like from watching like YouTube videos, like the most important thing for like these YouTubers to get like brand deals is based on their views, because they're like, you could have a bunch of subscribers, but if you have like no views, no brand is gonna like reach out to you to like sponsor their products. And then the likes are also crucial too. So yeah, I agree that the views and likes are probably like the most important.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Also, like sharing, so like the number of times the video has been posted to another social network. You could be a brand and like have a YouTube page and then have like your videos on YouTube and then like post them to the other social media, so it like all links back to your YouTube page, so that if people click on it, it goes to YouTube, and then they're getting engagement on one social media site and then increasing your YouTube engagement at the same time.
Yeah, I've actually seen some YouTubers I follow do that. Like they would take their YouTube video and then make it to clips and then fit the size of like TikTok, and they'll make it to a TikTok as well, and then people will also engage with that. So that's pretty interesting that we're doing that. The next one we'll be talking about is Slideshare, which I actually did not like. I am not familiar with Slideshare, but
I'm not either.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but apparently it just like shares like earning announcements and investor presentations and other documents.
Okay.
Yeah, something just like on that. I guess like that's not really what I do in my free time, so I'm not super familiar. But I was just wondering if anyone has heard of Slideshare or like have had any experience with it, because I haven't.
Honestly, I haven't heard of it until this book.
Yeah, same me too.
It says it's was acquired by LinkedIn, so I'm assuming it's more of a business kind of thing. Because it says like earnings announcements, investor presentations, other documents. So I think this would probably be more of like a B2B, like business to business. Like if you're a brand and you're trying to like do more like brand deals or whatever it may be, corporate type of relations, and not necessarily marketing to consumers.
Yeah. I don't know anything about it, but I mean, I will say it's cool that like if you like someone's presentation, you can download it. I mean, I think that's really cool. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I had to look it up after.
Yeah, maybe I'll come across it later on.
Yeah, I know.
When we're out of college.
Yeah. Okay, and the next platform we'll be talking about is Pinterest. And yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone's pretty familiar with it. It's just like a virtual board for images, interest. But yeah, what are some key like metrics that you guys use on Pinterest, and what do you guys use Pinterest for?
Everything. Absolutely everything. I like to plan my wedding and my life and my future home and like meals, just everything on there. I love Pinterest, but I feel like I feel like repins are really important, because if people are like repinning what you pin, then like you must have a decent following and you must be pinning pretty popular stuff. So I think repins are probably the most important.
Yeah, I definitely use, I think, Pinterest the most for like I don't know, interior design, and like I think that's, or like inspiration for furniture, or I think that's what I use Pinterest the most for.
Yeah, I'm not super like, I like use Pinterest, but I don't have like I don't know, my boards are just like super plain and like not that exciting and have like 2 things in them. But I think like the comments are really important, because like I like to look at recipes too, and like all the comments will be like, I tried this, and they'll put pictures, and some people will be like, this was awful, don't make this. And then other people will be like, this was great. And so that helps me, like, just as a consumer perspective, be like, oh, like, I want to try this.
Yeah.
Versus like,
Pinterest has great recipes.
yeah.
That's cool. Do you guys, I saw that like it says that followers and like are like it's one of the things too, but like I don't think like do you guys follow people on Pinterest? Because I think I just scroll through things, but I don't necessarily like
Same. I don't really follow. I just kind of scroll and pin what I like.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like I personally don't follow people, but I was like, oh, yeah, but I guess repins, but that's interesting. You said talked about comments. I don't think I've read comments on stuff, but then I guess I also am not on the recipe side, but that makes sense. Like then you would know what is good or what's not good. That's interesting. Do you guys think like Pinterest has like influenced you guys to like purchase or like influence you to like buy things? Or, like,
I think so, for sure. I mean, I'll see like outfits on there and I'm like, I would totally wear that. And so I'll click on it and see like what the brands are in the picture. And then, yeah, so definitely.
Yeah, I also think that, oh, sorry.
You go, sorry.
I was going to say like, if you, just because of like social media and the ability to like track your like movement on websites and stuff, I always get like ads for things that I've like looked at online. Like if I looked at a pair of shoes or something, I'll get an ad for it like within my Pinterest suggested, and then it kind of like tailors what other things it shows me that I might be interested in based off of things that I looked at not on Pinterest. So I do think that it has an influence, like not only with just ads, but like other things that it shows you, because it like is tailoring to what you like.
Yeah. I think they're, you know how they have the image search thing, so when you click on something, like what the suggested is like either the same pair of shoes or whatever, or it's the same vibe, but like I think that's pretty cool because then you're like, whoa. And it definitely influences.
I also feel like Pinterest just caters to consumers as a whole because it's literally like a big life planner. Like you can literally plan your life on it or really make it what you want. And so I think that that's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, and the next platform is Instagram. And that was my personal favorite one, so I got super excited. I was like, ooh. Okay. So some questions I had written down was like, I was pretty surprised to see that like on the textbook they only put like 3 major matrix, which I think that's like pretty bizarre because I think there's like so many more than just 3 categories.
Yeah.
And I was one of my favorite things that I like look at on my own is like, you know how the trick, have you guys seen it where like you change your personal account to like a business account?
Yeah.
So you can see like the stats. Yeah, and you can see who shares and who saves or how many shares and saves you have.
Yeah.
So like that's what I have on, but I did not see that like in the textbook. So I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's what I use. Like whenever I post photos, I would look at. But yeah, what do you like? What about you guys? Do you guys have that, or like what are some other ones that you guys think like maybe it's not mentioned on the textbook?
Yeah, I think the book was written like a few years ago, so like it's not as up to date as like Instagram is. I don't use like the tracking or whatever, but I do know that like there's the other things like the shoppable post that's like super popular now. And like you can like click on the link, the direct link to an item in a picture. So brands, like as like a brand, you can just like say like, here's this, and you can like reshare people's like your followers or whatever, like wearing the item and be like, shop this look, and then click on it and just go straight there.
I know that like, you know, for brands and like, you know, bloggers on Instagram, like the metrics that really help them out is like if you share their posts or if you comment or if you like, they're always saying like, please comment, please save, please da 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 da. So I know that those are like the vital metrics. I also know that Instagram, you can do like live videos. And so I think when brands do like live videos, that gives like consumers the opportunity to like actively engage. And I think that that's a big bonus for Instagram.
Well, like I have like a little Instagram account that I use because I'll like buy and resell like designer handbags and stuff. And so it's cool because you can see like like if more like men or women are viewing your posts and like where their location is and or like in the
And like an age range too, right? Or like
yeah, and the age too, and I don't know.
Yeah,
It's really interesting.
Yeah, and I think I've seen somewhere, well, since like, you know how Instagram now they changed their algorithm to like it's not by timeline. I've seen that like if a post, like if you post something and then like there's a lot of engagement, like comments, likes, shares, then that post will also be on top of the top of the like people's timeline more.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't get
Isn't that like TikTok kind
yeah,
of?
it's similar to TikTok, which I was like,
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
I also think that the explore page on Instagram gets you because
Yeah.
I find myself just looking at the explore page and like they have so many good like ads and like cute outfits and like I go down the rabbit hole on the explore page.
Yeah, they definitely are pretty good at gauging what you're interested in, and they have like, and yeah, I like the explore page too.
Oh yeah,
interesting. But they talked about stories too, I guess, because like I guess stories you can also view like the stats for it too, like how many people has seen it, and then like how many impressions, who clicked on like mine. I don't know why, I don't know if that's for everyone's. I can see like how many people clicked on my like at stickers too. For like one time I posted something with like different people and I can see like how many clicks on each ad. I was like, whoa, that's like very specific.
Yeah.
So that's interesting too, I guess. Yeah, but the stories was one of them. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, and like in stories, if you like swipe up on like a certain person's link, they get commission if you like
right,
swipe up.
Yeah.
So I think that's really
cool. That too. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a good way to advertise as well. Okay, and the next one is Snapchat, which I think we're all pretty familiar with how that works. And but yeah, they wrote down some matrix. I was just wondering like what you guys think of what they have down and like what are some that you guys think are important for Snapchat.
I think obviously views, because I know every time I post something on Snapchat, I'm always going to see like who's looking at it. And obviously like if someone screenshots your post, then that's pretty important to them at least. And I also have noticed that like time of day plays a huge factor into that. Like if you post like in the morning versus at night, you're gonna get like different views. Like I feel like you kind of get more views at night because everyone's kind of settling down from their day and they're actively on their phone versus in the morning people are like getting up for work and active. So I think time of day is huge.
Yeah, I think as like a brand, like if you have a brand or like I don't really follow people on Snapchat other than just like my friends, but I know you can like subscribe to influencers or brands, and there's always like magazine articles and ads in the like explore side where you can just scroll and look through. So I think that the time of day and who's clicking on your magazine ad and stuff like that is really important to engage with, because like I know some people probably just like go to the explore page and look at their friends' stories and then go back. So like, should you be serving that ad to those people, or should you like switch it up to try to get them more engaged? And I know for like email marketing, like time of day is like huge. Like when you send, like what days of the week you send ads to people and what time of the day. So I feel like it's kind of the same thing for Snapchat. Like, and especially since Snapchat's such a younger kind of platform, or younger people are on Snapchat more so, like you are targeting, like, I feel like all the ads I see are like either things that I've looked at before or something that would be generally targeted to like college students, high school students, Gen Z type of things.
I also know like the news always gets me, like on the explore page, like all the different news things, like, oh, this person did this or this happened to so and so, and I'm like, wait, what? So like I think that gets a lot of people.
Yeah, that's like one of my questions that I had down too. Like, do you guys actually watch the public stories? Do you guys like go through all that?
I do.
I do too.
They're interesting.
Yeah, sometimes me too. And then they have ads like always like right after the first one, so then you have to watch the ads to find out what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my other question is like, do you guys think Snapchat is dying, because I've noticed that like I used to use Snapchat all the time and I've slowly started to use it less and less. I used to post like everything about my life on Snapchat like in high school, I feel like. But I feel like in college I definitely like calmed it down. Like I barely post anything. And I see like most people now just post like private stories and stuff. Like do you guys like think Snapchat will slowly go like downwards or
I agree with you. In high school, oh my gosh, I used it like all day, every day. And now I like use it once in a blue moon. So like,
yeah.
and also I feel like I use it more to like see what other people are doing, but like
Yeah.
I don't necessarily post, you know?
Yeah, same, me too. Or like streaks. I know that was a
Yeah.
big thing.
Yeah.
But I think that's like slowly dying too. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's with age or if it's just not like a trend anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care about really streaks that much anymore.
I don't have one. I don't have one streak.
Yeah, but I think now I use it more mainly for like my private story.
Yeah.
And that's what my friends do too, so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But now
I
they
think,
do, I can tell like Snapchat is like really trying because now they have the like
Yeah.
spotlight thing, but I never look at the spotlight. Because
Yeah.
like TikTok or the reels from Instagram,
Mhm.
I don't look
Yeah.
at, I don't look at those.
I think it might honestly just be like age, because like I don't know, my sister's in high school and I know I Snapchat my sister, and I feel like there's a lot more to be, or there's a lot more room to influence like younger people than
Mhm.
it is to influence. I think mainly because like we had the Snap, like we started with Snap, like we had it when it started, or
Yeah.
like most of us, and we were like, this is the coolest thing ever. And then we kind of like got over it, or we were like, like I don't really care about the streaks anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like, gonna like fade off for everyone, but I feel like when you're younger and like you're first like, oh, like I just made an Instagram account, or like I just made a Snapchat account, there's the excitement is like at its high. So like for us, we're like, well, whatever. But like for younger people, I think that it still is a like prominent platform, especially because most younger people are spending their parents' money and not their own money. So you can market to them and they're going to want the stuff that they see on there.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. But it's definitely interesting seeing like what we use on Snapchat. I feel like other apps started like adapting to it, and like I like find myself posting on my like Instagram stories more now. And I would send photos sometimes on Instagram, or if I'm talking to someone on like DMs instead of like Snapchat chat, I would just send photos. I was like, oh, that's kind of replacing what I used to use Snapchat for. So like it's just interesting to see. But I guess we'll see in a couple of years how Snapchat does and if it survives. But yeah, okay, so next platform is LinkedIn. And yeah, they have some of their matrix too, but like do you guys have do you guys go on your timelines on LinkedIn ever, and do you like stuff on there? Is that something you do normally?
Yeah. For like LinkedIn, I think just because of my like all of our stage of life, it's like the platform we need to have for like jobs and whatever else. So when I like stuff on LinkedIn, it's because I want, like, I'm like, oh, this person, like a friend of mine got a job. Like, I never like anything else. It's always
Yeah.
just like congratulating people because I want them to have like more likes on their post. And then, or like a company that I'm interested in, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna like this. So they see that I'm liking their stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's less of like just like interest and more of just like, I guess, selfishness, like trying to be like have like the best LinkedIn account so people like
Right.
want to hire me. But I think that with like there's a lot of content on LinkedIn, and they have a lot of resources too. Like there's LinkedIn Learning, and you can do like all sorts of stuff through LinkedIn. And there's like LinkedIn influencers, I think too. Like I'll go on LinkedIn and it'll kind of like Facebook does, where it'll say like so and so liked this, and so you see that on your feed, and it's always like some big business mogul like with 100,000 likes or something, and you're like, oh, okay. But I feel like it's less of like a business, like I guess it is kind of about a business, like wanting to get likes for your company, but I feel like it's less about that and more about like personal likes. Like that's the more important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with Kylie. It's more of just like a selfish thing. Like you want to get the job and you want people to like your page. So I mean, yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Like people aren't going on LinkedIn for like personal like enjoyment and just like I'm bored, I want to like scroll through, see what my friends are doing. They're like, I want to scroll through and see what my colleagues are posting about, and like it's business oriented, so it's not really for like I don't know.
For sure.
I mean, I know there is marketing on there and like social media marketing, but it's not as like effective in terms of retention, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, and like just to wrap up all the like social media or like all the platforms, what are some like platforms do you guys think will continue to grow, and what are some you think will be left in the past?
I think Instagram will always continue to grow. I think Instagram is like kind of like the top dog. I think I agree with you on Snapchat. I think Snapchat's kind of like going out for like, as Kylie said, like our age, not necessarily for like middle school and high school age kids. I don't know. Facebook, I've never really been big into Facebook. Like I have one, but like I never go on it. So possibly Facebook might be going out. But I mean, I feel like the top dog right now is probably Instagram.
Yeah, I feel like so many of these like big social media platforms, they keep like changing, so they're like won't get in the dust. I've noticed, like, I don't know, if you looked at like Instagram, I don't know, like 6 years ago, it looks completely different than it does now.
Yeah.
Like,
For sure.
like they're really trying to stay relevant.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that because this book was written before TikTok really came out, like TikTok is like the new shining star and it's going to take over, or it's already taking over. I think like Instagram and Facebook, because they're like Facebook owns Instagram, it's like kind of one and the same, but your target market through each of them is different. Like Facebook, I feel like is older and like Instagram's younger. So I think they'll both still be like relevant, but I think that like if you don't have a TikTok presence, you're going to need a TikTok presence.
Yeah. I also feel like Twitter is gonna stay around just because like it's the place where people go to just like vent and like, oh, here's my feelings. Like I don't know. So I feel like it'll stick around.
Yeah. But I definitely found like this whole like section really interesting in general because I feel like these platforms are what like such a big part of our lives, and it's interesting that like the textbook has like definitions for stuff, and I feel like if anything, like we don't lack any knowledge in them. So it's just interesting to like I guess put it in words, but it's like like I was thinking like who's writing these textbooks. I was like, these people are like way older like men teaching us about like platforms on Snapchat or Instagram. I was like, I wonder how much they use it themselves, or did they have to like do research on it? You know, I was just like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Or example, like TikTok, if they were to write about it, like I was like,
Yeah, they're probably like, what's TikTok?
Yeah, like, do they have to, I wonder, like, do they use Snapchat all the time and Instagram? Do they post on their stories all the time, like, to, like, write about all this? I don't know. I think it's interesting. But I think, I guess there's, like, a disadvantage for the textbook because it takes a while to update and stuff because, like, by now, like, example, when we were talking about stories, Instagram Live, or, like, I don't know, algorithm, or just TikTok, I feel like these platforms change so fast. It's hard to be super like on top of it and like on date with everything. But yeah, that was just interesting. And and I guess now we'll move on to the other stuff, and then if you guys have anything to add in between, like feel free to do that. Okay, so we're talking about the demystifying web data, and it talks about like Google and like metrics for that, and like on websites, I guess. So that's pretty interesting. They just have like visits, pages per visit. I don't know. Those are things I don't really think about that much, I guess. Because I guess like we don't really see the data on how much people are clicking on things. It's like, I don't know. But it's pretty interesting. And then moving on to digital advertising concepts. Um, I was just wondering if you guys had, if there are any cool like online ads that made an impression on you, and what did they use to stand out to you?
I guess ads that kind of get me a lot is like if I like had previously searched something or like was shopping and looking at a pair of shoes and then I leave it and then like maybe I'll be on, I don't know, like Quizlet or something, and then I'll get those pair of shoes.
That's the worst.
It distracts me and then I click on it and then yeah. So those like get me a lot because I've seen it before and I've like looked at it and they know I'm interested in it and yeah.
I agree with that 110%. I actually was on Facebook yesterday for a little bit, and I was scrolling and like all this stuff for Nordstrom came up and I was like, crap. So I just started scrolling, and it was clicking on everything, and probably for an hour I was just looking at Nordstrom stuff. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I agree.
Like,
oh, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, the Quizlet thing is definitely distracting. I feel like they don't actually want us to succeed in our schoolwork. But I think that like most of the time, if I'm on like a website, most of the time I am like desensitized to the banner ads and the things that pop up. I just X out and I'm just doing.
Yeah, me too.
You go to a recipe and it's like all these ads and like this whole description of I just scroll directly to the bottom to get to the recipe or something. So I feel like those banner ads are not near as effective unless it's something like on Quizlet where you're like, I don't want to study and I just looked at these shoes, so I'm going to click on them.
Yeah, that one is definitely tricky. Yeah, but I agree with like the random pop-up banners that like, especially the ones that without photos or not things that I'm like directly interested in, because I feel like nowadays like it's almost like overused. Like when we see like sign up for 20% off, I feel like everyone just immediately clicks out of it, or like I don't know, or like join our membership, whatever. I'm like, okay, no, I just click out all of those. But I feel like the ones that do really get me are also the ones with like photos of things I literally just looked at are in my cart that I'm deciding. And like especially I guess during studying like Quizlets or something, that is like very distracting.
Yeah, I feel like those pop-up ads, like my goal is to find like the exit button. Like I don't even look at that. It's just where's the exit button?
Yeah.
Also, I don't mean to like backtrack, but back to page 31, that's kind of where I had my next bridge based off of. And I was wondering if it's okay if I do that. I kind of forgot that I had another. Okay. It was kind of over like the share of voice, share of conversation, like that section.
Yes.
I said there are 5 different primary data points discussed in this chapter. The first one being share of voice. Share of voice tracks how much conversation is happening about a brand versus its competition. The next data point, share of conversation, is used to track specific product conversation within a brand. The third data point, sentiment, is simply the amount of positive or negative conversation happening about a brand. Message resonance, the fourth data point, is used to determine if a brand's message is being received by consumers. And lastly, overall conversation volume is used to track the volume of conversation over time. All of these data points help brands/companies to see what works and doesn't work for consumers. These points also help brands to make future decisions about what products to sell. This concept ties directly in with my fashion forecasting class because forecasters rely solely on their own research and primary data points to determine what they think will and won't sell. Forecasters determine the fashion of the future, and without primary data points, this simply would not be possible.
True. Yeah, I think that honestly, like, earned social media is really important as well. Overlooked sometimes, but I agree with that. Because if everyone's talking about it, like, I feel like everyone's like, oh, like, you kind of notice, and everyone wants to like, be in the know of everything, I guess, or be on top.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree with that. And, okay, and moving on to, oh, yeah, it's still, like, with online ads that we're talking about, so like it also on the textbook also talks about paid search and organic search, and paid search pretty much is just like when online advertising they pay to like have specific keywords for their ads to pop up first, I guess. And organic is just when you know the exact keywords to use for people to find you. Sorry, that's a little confusing, but I actually like had experience with this with YouTube. Like my friend had a YouTube channel, and she when she posted this video, like I think on the YouTube matrix you can actually see that if people found you by keyword search or like you just happen to pop up. So like if someone types exact like I don't know like blue like Air Force Ones or something, I guess, and your video pops up, I guess that would be organic search. I don't know. Like if you guys have anything to add to that, I don't know.
Yeah. So like paid search, there's like this whole algorithm process that, and basically, so I took digital marketing, and basically like it's the ad, the ones at the top that say ad, that's
Yeah.
paid search. And if you click on it, that's when you like get charged for the ad space that you have.
Oh,
So basically, obviously you're paying for it. And it's like this whole, especially like for like Google, for example, they have like an algorithm process. And so like you have like a bidding war between like other like companies or brands that use the keywords to get the top spot. Whoever has like the best bid or whatever gets the spot. And it's like, because it's so fast, it's just like all done like super speed. And it pops up. And then so like the organic search is the one that starts at the bottom, and it's simply just based off of like the strongest match. So like if you looked up like blue Air Force Ones, it might pop up an ad for Nike at the top,
right.
and then it might have an organic Nike website right underneath it. So like if you clicked on that top one, Nike would get like charged.
Oh.
But if you clicked on the organic one, they're not going to get charged for that, because it's
cool.
just based off of the data.
I always wondered, I was like, how much did you pay to be on top? But that's interesting. It's like each it's like makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like pretty low, like $1 or something, you know, like it's not as high as you think, but it definitely adds up when people search it.
I did not know that.
Also had like a bridge on paid search.
Yes.
So because of like COVID, like searches, like popular searches kind of changed, or people were like toilet paper or whatever they're trying to search for. But I found an article that kind of talked about COVID's effect on like paid search and how companies really need to use like the search engine optimization in order to ensure that if they're using paid search, that their ads are the top place ads when someone makes a search. So basically, they like this article is saying that companies like need to reevaluate like the keywords that they have. And one of the things it was saying is like, if you want your ad to pop up like during COVID, you might want to include like free shipping in your key terms or something, or things that people are like looking up, free curbside pickup. So that will help your ad get to the top, because if like other brands aren't putting those keywords, then your brand would be able to get the top spot. And I think that like we don't really think about paid search as much, but it's still like one of the strongest points in digital marketing. So it's definitely able to maximize your capabilities if you're like, because like keywords are a big thing. So if you're able to like understand what keywords are the most important, then like you'll be able to get the top ad space.
Yes. Thank you for sharing. Okay, and moving on to align digital and traditional analytics. I just wrote down some keywords that popped up, like brand perception, message resonance, executive reputation, advertising performance, and then traditional media monitoring and traditional CRM data. Those are some like digital and traditional. And I had my discussion question was like, what are some ways we can tie those together, and is it beneficial to keep the traditional ways still? Or if you guys have anything else that on that topic that you guys would like to share, that would be good too.
I have a bridge. I have my final bridge, actually,
Sure.
all of that. Okay. So I said primary research typically consists of surveys and focus groups. Surveys and focus groups allow for firsthand knowledge on consumers, therefore making it easier to target them. How a brand is perceived and a message is received are two measures that require engaging in offline testing. It is easy to assume how a brand is perceived on social platforms. However, a brand never really knows until it partakes in direct communication with the consumer. As for receiving the brand message, many people still prefer offline contact to social media, therefore making it difficult for all consumers to receive the desired message. When it comes to communication with executives, consumers crave authenticity. If brand executives reach out to consumers for honest feedback and show that they are intentional, then consumers will be receptive and the brand will flourish. Lastly, advertising performance is crucial to a brand's acceptance. Many have come to the realization that using focus groups to test ads gives better results than running them online. In my advertising procedures class, we are learning the importance of using focus groups and surveys to obtain solid data in a way that will benefit the brand. We are also learning the importance of direct marketing due to the fact that this method promotes authenticity and promising results. Consumers want to feel cared for and heard, therefore making primary research the way to go.
Thank you. That's perfect. And any last minute thoughts before we go to art?
I think I have two bridges left.
Yes.
One of them is like kind of talking about the customer, like the CRM and customer relationship management. And like in the book, it's like basically saying that it's really hard, or one of the things it's saying is like it's hard to utilize every like channel. So you kind of have to, going back to the beginning where it's like you have to pick the right metrics that you want to track, and you have to pick the right like channels that you want to utilize your like customer relationship management and like personalizing the marketing messages that you have. And then it's like a quote, I think, from the book. It's like the goal is to look for trends we can identify from our traditional databases, look for the similarities and differences in online behavior, and try to understand how that information can be used to deliver relevant and personalized consumer experiences across all the digital touch points that they have with your brand. And I found an article from Salesforce, which is a company that offers a customer relationship management software for businesses to use. And it mentioned 4 different businesses that use their products, and like how they like specify like these are the metrics that we want to track, and this is the specific channel that we want to use. I'll just like mention a couple of them just because there's like a lot, but one of them is like a wine company. I think they have different wines, and basically as they were getting larger, they wanted to have more personalization in like their email marketing channel. So they would send, if a customer made an order, they would send an email at 10 a.m. Basically like a personalized email, like thanking them for their purchase and all this stuff. So that was like the metric that they thought, or the channel that they thought was best to like increase their customer retention. Because like obviously they wouldn't have enough resources to do that for like every single digital marketing channel. So like that I thought was like interesting. Like they were like, that's the way that they wanted to go, like using the email marketing. And so like just overall like customer relationship management is really important, but tying back to like what the book says, like you have to know the right way to utilize that.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing on all of that. And we can move on to Claire's.
Okay, so I drew I don't know if you know what Notability is, but I did it on that. It's like for taking notes, but wait, hold on. I can't. Okay, so I don't know if you can see it exactly.
It's like a magnifying glass, right?
Yeah. So what do you guys think of this when you see it?
It's like somebody's watching her clicking on YouTube or like whatever. Like she has no idea that that person's like zooming in on them. They're like, what is this girl doing here?
Me, it makes me think of like when Facebook is like low key, like observing and listening to everything we say, and like then ads pop up. That's like Facebook, like saying like, "Oh, I see you. I see what you're doing," but you don't know that I see what you're doing.
Yeah, agree. Or like when they stalk you and they put whatever you're thinking about or starting to like, like around you, and you see it everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, so the reason I drew this was because I feel like when we're on a website, like the company is like looking down on us and recording like every move we make. So I did the magnifying glass to represent the company, like tracking the metrics of the consumer, which is the woman on the computer. And then, like discussed in chapter 2, companies can track impressions, clicks, visits, page views, CTR, keywords, conversations, etc. So it almost feels like the companies are like spying on us and how we navigate like their websites. So that's why I chose to use the magnifying glass to represent the company. And then it's like the company pays attention, yeah, like I said, to our every move. I also made the magnifying glass bigger because I feel like companies have a lot more power and control over just one like consumer browsing their website. Like when we're browsing the internet and clicking an ad, we may not think anything of it, but in reality, companies pay like close attention to what you're doing. So I was like, it may just be a click to us, but it means a lot more to a company. So that's why I did that.
I liked it. That was cool.
It makes me think of that documentary that we had to watch.
Yeah.
Like I forgot what it was called. The terms and conditions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Very neat as well. But yeah, any last minute thoughts about our reading or anything?
I have, I guess, one more bridge. I'll go ahead and just like say that one.
Defended. Yeah.
What?
Yes, you can just take it away.
Okay, yeah. So basically, I found another article from Ad Age, which is like a advertising publication, like the New York Times. But basically, it was talking about how digital marketing is going to like grow and like look like in 2021. And something that like really caught my eye was there is basically saying that in the future, the web will be split from between anonymous users and authenticated users. So there's like a balance between the two types, and like publishers are going to have to learn about the users to like maintain that balance. And like kind of just trying to connect that to the book, like it mentioned some term called lookalike audiences. So it's like targeting people that are similar to you or similar to your existing customers. And I think that like knowing that for like a brand, if they would be able to like segment their anonymous users and authenticated users. So like authenticated users could be like their current customers, people that have accounts with their company. And then like the anonymous users are like trying to be those lookalike people. So like you're trying to take them and convert them into authenticated users. But I just thought that was really interesting and something that like might be a bigger thing in the future, like determining the difference between those.
Yeah. Okay, and I think that is all for discussion. And yeah, thanks for participating in all the discussion questions. And yeah.
Good job, guys.
Woo.